Hey, this video is again going to go over how to create our shapes and Onshape. I'm doing individual part studios for each one. You can put them all in one. I like to do them individually. So I'm going to hide my front and right plane. So I'm on my top plane. I'm going to insert a sketch. I'm going to put the sketch on the top plane. I'm going to hit the N key just to make it normal view so it's straight up and down, makes it nice and easy for me. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my line tool. Let's start with my line tool. This shape we're going to make is going to be a single block tall. Actually, it's going to be 2 blocks tall, but it's going to be 2 blocks wide. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to draw this out. It's going to be about 0.75 inches. So I'm going to go just a little bit over. I'm going to make it 2 blocks long. So I'm going to click again to draw my line out. About 2 blocks long is about 1.5. Straight down again, and it'll show when I get right to the edge, and I'm going to go across. Remember, each block is 0.75 inches. You want to make sure that everything connects because that's how you're going to be able to extrude everything out. And so this part is going to be 2 block tall, and then I'm going to put a 3rd block on the end of it so that it fits in. So now what I'm going to do is I finish the sketch. Now I'm going to extrude. And I'm going to click the extrusion face. If I hold my right mouse button, I can rotate it to kind of see what I'm extruding. Now this is going to be 2 blocks tall. Actually, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to dimension it. So I'm going to go back in and I'm going to dimension this. So I'm going to go back into my sketch one. So I'm going to click over for my sketch one and I'm going to dimension this out. So I'm going to do my dimension lines to make sure I get my exact measurements. So this is 2 blocks. So I'm going to do 0.75 times. So my time symbol times 2, which would be 1.5, but we've got it. This is going to be 1 block length. So we're going to make this 1 block length, 0.75. And that should be everything because the rest of them are constrained. So now I've got it done. Now I'm going to extrude this up. So I'm going to hit this extrude button, extrude the face. I can rotate to see what I'm doing. I can either pull it to go up to where I want it to be, or in this case, I know it's going to be 2 block lengths. I'm going to do 1.5. So it's going to be 2 block lengths, and I'm going to hit enter. So there's my 2 blocks wide by 2 blocks tall. I'm going to hit finish. Now, we can't have a rectangle, so my shape has got one little cube that comes off the end here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rotate my face here so that I've got the left face. I'm going to add a sketch onto it, add a sketch right onto that face. I'm going to hit N so it makes it normalize, zoom myself in, and I'm going to make 1 block that comes out. So I'm going to just go right up to the top here. I'm going to go down what I think is 0.75. So I'll go a little bit here, there, and it tells me there's my halfway mark. So I'm going to bring this across to the other one. I'm going to go back up to the top, and I have to come back across to connect it. So now I've got it. Now I want to dimension this out just to make sure. So I'm going to dimension this line, 0.75. Perfect. This line should be 0.75. Perfect. This line should be 0.75. Perfect. And just to make sure, 0.75. So we've got it. So now what I'm going to do is change my view just a little bit. I'm going to extrude this out. It's only going to come out 1 block length, so it's going to come out 0.75. And there is my shape. And so now I've got my shape here. Now what I can do is I can right click it. I want to change the color of it because each of my parts is a different color. You can pick whatever colors you want, but you want each part to be a different color. So I'm going to right click on this part, edit appearance, and I'm going to make this one purple. And I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to call this, I'm going to come down here and rename this. And we'll call this my purple part. Okay, so there's my purple part. So now what we're going to do is we're going to assemble all these parts together. So if you look at this, I've got a red part, I've got a purple part, and I've got an orange part. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to this assembly tab. And if you don't see the assembly, you can hit this plus down here and you say create an assembly. And what I'm going to do for this assembly is I'm going to bring in parts that I've got. Oh, get rid of that. So I've got my assembly here. So what I'm going to do is bring in parts. So I'm going to hit my insert button, and this is where I can insert the parts that I want to do. So I'm going to insert my orange shape, and I can move it out of the way here. I'm going to insert my purple part, put that kind of over here, and I'm going to bring in my red part, and I'll put it down, just down in there. Okay, so I've brought in all of the parts that I've got, so I can go in and get the different parts. If all your parts are in one, you can bring them all over at once. I'm going to hit the green checkbox, so there's my parts. So now I've got my parts in here. Now what I want to do is I want to get them so that they stay and do what they're supposed to do. So what we want to do is we want to find one that's going to be our home base, right? And that's the one that's never going to change on us. So I'm going to make this orange one be our home base. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on this part and I'm going to hit fix. What fix means is this part will not move. Okay, that part will not move at all. So that part is always going to stay where it is and everything is going to connect to that part. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this part and I can move it. If I rotate my view, I can rotate this up because I'm going to rotate this up to show where it's going. I'll rotate it 90 degrees. So I've got it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to put these parts together. So now I've got this part is where I want it to be. 90 degrees. There it is. So now with this part, what we're going to do is I'm going to do what's called a planar mate. So planar mate is up here at the top, and what we're going to do is we're going to say we're going to put these pieces together. So I'm going to click the planar mate here. So planar, and I'm going to click, it's going to go right, this face, so I'm going to click this face, is going to go right into here. So I'm going to put it right on the inside there. And now if you notice this, now if you look at this, and this might happen sometimes, it's facing the wrong direction. So if I change the arrow, I can flip it around so it's going the right direction. Okay, so that's going to be my first puzzle piece. I'm going to hit the checkbox and see now my puzzle piece is in there. So now when I move this, I can move it. I can move it up and down, and I can move it all around. But what I want to do is I just want to get it so that it's right into the place of where my cube is. Oh, I'm going to go back to my front view here. And there, so I'm going to get my piece back in there so I can zoom in and get to see what I'm doing here with them. Do that again. So I'm going to bring this piece over again and I'm going to join it. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put that piece this side. So I'm going to do, let's do my, there it is. There's my planar mate. So now I've got that piece is fixed in there. So now what I want to do is I want to do the same thing for this piece, and this piece is going to go up on top here like this. So what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to come down on the bottom. I'm going to do my planar mate. I'm going to click this bottom part here. It says bottom part, and it is going to go right onto this piece here, right there. And then what I might have to do is rotate it so I can get this piece rotated in. So I'm going to rotate it, and then I'm going to get my view set up here a little bit so I can pull this in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another one. So if I do a planar mate, so I'm going to hit check there so it's on the right one, but these aren't lined up right. So what I can do here is add a planar mate, and I'm going to do this side to this side, and that's going to get it so that it stays at the top or at where it's supposed to be. But now what we can do here is I want to do this side. I'm going to plane this side to this side, and I'm going to put it in there. So now see how if we join just each piece, how it'll lock that piece in there. So what you're trying to do is you just are mating. I'm mating this face to match this face, mate this face to match this face, mate this face to match this face, right? So that's how you would get those to go together. And what you're going to do is you're going to continue to put these assemblies together so that we have got them set up and you have your puzzle cube assembled with your 5 pieces. So your 5 pieces should go in for your puzzle cube.